Remember, CIA is more than just an organization. It is a covenant to uphold SDGs, to defend peace, and to prove that no one person commitment can shift a community. Members, inductees, welcome to history. Welcome to the inaugural assembly of Communityimpact Affinity. And I'm very much glad to be the one to open this section. My name is Queen Gloria Babangida Agboti. And as a family, I know that we're meeting some persons for the very first time, while we've actually met some other persons for the very, meeting some persons for the very first time, while we've gotten to know some other persons for a while. But I want all of us to know that we are a family. So whoever you're sitting close to, make new friends, meet new people, interact. But we cannot start this day without starting with God. So I would like to introduce the person doing the opening prayer. We're going to have two prayers this morning, a Christian prayer and an Islamic prayer. So we're going to have Mr. Stephen Omatule to do the opening prayers. Mr. Stephen, please.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to have you here. Please, may we rise for our opening prayer. We are all happy to be here today, and if we look at things that have been happening around us within Nigeria, you can tell yourself that it's not just by your grace, but by the mercies of the Lord that you are alive, took you from where you are to this place today. So with that being said, I would love us to close our eyes while we pray. In Jesus' name. In Jesus' name. Father Lord, we thank you today. We thank you for bringing each and every member of the CIA to this gathering. We bless your holy name and we'll give you all the glory and all the honor in Jesus' name. We pray that as we are starting this event with you as the opener, you will lead and guide us successfully without no stress till the end in Jesus' name. We commit each and every member seated here today, the inductees and the SDGs and every other invited guest into your hands, that no issue of any sudden attack will be had while we undergo this program today in Jesus' name. We cover this vicinity in the name and the blood of Jesus, for in Jesus' name we pray.
Thank you so much, Mr. Stephen. All right, so to take our Islamic prayers, I would like to introduce Mr. Hafizu Shehu Ringim for the Islamic prayers.
Good morning, everyone. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in, Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim, sirata allazina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amin.
I wake up, I see you as you leave. I feel it, I see it as you leave.
Thank you so much, Dr. Seed. All right, thank you, Mr. Stephen, and thank you, Mr. Hafiz, for making our prayers very brief. So you see, we are understanding the assignment, everybody. It's a good one. So, are we making friends? Have you made a friend? Are you sure? I'm seeing people who have not made friends, so you have to make a friend. You can't just sit. Something has to happen. Make a friend. Someone you don't know before. Some persons are sitting miles apart. Please, we're not in the era of coronavirus. Don't be scared. We're safe. All right. I'm about to go straight to the next item, which is, okay, quite unfortunate that Mr. Mario could not make it. Quite unfortunate. We're really going to miss him. So he couldn't make it for this event. So we're about to move straight to just give me a second. All right. So before we get this opening address, I want to do something real quick. I'm going to play a short game, and I call it Tell Me About CIA. All of us here are members of CIA, right? So randomly, I will just come to you and ask you to tell me about CIA. So you get to tell me what you have to say, what you think CIA is for you. So they said we should give honor to whom honor is due, right? So I'm going to give the chairman of the National Working Committee. He will be the first person to tell me about CIA. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for SDG Ambassador Emeka Osborne Otuagbo as he tells us about CIA, the chairman.
Thank you so much. Okay, I think I'll be brief and straight to it. CIA, as we all know, is an NGO registered here in Nigeria. Community Impact Affinity, I know for a few years now we've been into different things, working on different SDG goals. We have the gender, we have the clean energy, security, peace building, and all that. For CIA, I know for the past few months, we'll be working on the area of ICT, training for youths on different states. I can make mention of Ebonyi, Kano is ongoing, and I think Kaduna, if I'm right. So we are working on them, training them on ICT, on digital level anyway. So, and right now they are doing well on that, which I think we've rounded up with Kaduna on that. So this is what I can say for now. Thank you.
If you're not clapping, you're the one I will point to. So you actually don't want me to point to you. So All right. One male. Ambassador Joyce, tell me about CIA.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. It's such an honor to be here. So for me, CIA is a non-governmental organization that is grassrooted but globally recognized. Here is what I mean when I say it is grassrooted. CIA has successfully empowered youths across Nigeria. And also it has, hopefully it's going to extend its tentacles to every part of Africa and beyond. So CIA is an organization that champions sustainable development goals. And part of the reason why we are here is to champion why the organization exists. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So who wants to tell me about CIA? Let me ask and see if we have honest people. Who wants to tell me about CIA? From here. Volunteer yourself. See, I've gone here, I've gone there, I'm back here. So one person should volunteer. Who wants to tell me about CIA? Hey, none of them want to tell me about CIA. Okay, I will come back here. Someone has to tell me about CIA. It's not Ambassador Jaffert.
Good morning, all. My name is Ambassador Jaffert Francis, Borno State Liaison Officer. To the best of my knowledge, Communityimpact Affinity is an SDG-based NGO, United Nations SDG-based NGO, and our purpose is to make sure that we reach out to the best of our ability on the SDGs. And we've seen IT programs commenced and so much more. It's actually a strong NGO when it comes to humanity. I think it gives me the sense of belonging, being a medical personnel, of giving more to humanity. So I think much appreciation to CIA for this privilege and opportunity. Thank you.
So that's the kind of clap you're clapping for CIA. Eh? I didn't forget to shall I come? Ambassador Jaffert, they said you saved them. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you so much, all of you. And I'm proud that we all together as a team make this dream of CIA come true. So for the welcome address, we're told that leadership is service, right? So in absence of Ambassador Mario, we have to drag our COO out. Who should we call? We have to call the COO to take the place of Ambassador Mario. So I'd like to welcome no other person than the COO of Communityimpact Affinity, the chairman in person of Ambassador Wilson Babangida Agbote. Please put your hands together for the COO. It's not easy. If you're not clapping, I'll call you. Mr. Wilson, please. mix up. Straight away, I would like to, Mr. Wilson has decided to give the honor to someone else. So I would like to introduce one of the members of the Board of Trustees, who is in person no other than Mr. Emmanuel Lokumbo. Please put your hands together for him as he comes to the stage for the opening remark. Thank you so much, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to sincerely thank everyone for attending this very special occasion. I call this occasion special because it's bringing people from far and wide to really demonstrate what CIA stands for. And I would really want to suggest that before we close this event today, we should be able to take on a slogan, because sharing the reflection in the room about what people know concerning CIA, one thing stands out, that Community Impact Affinity is indeed a connector. So I am proposing to say that by the end of the day, we should adopt a slogan that when people say CIA or when people say ambassadors of CIA, we should just respond by the word connectors, yeah? CIA connectors, yes. So I am really privileged and honored to stand in for Ambassador Mario, who is unavoidably absent. He is not in the country. He desired to be here to really present this welcome address, but because of exigencies beyond his control, he has deemed it fit to request that I welcome you. So my job is simple. I would say welcome everyone, our esteemed ambassadors, our inductees, and everybody that has been invited to witness this event. Today marks a very special day in the history of CIA, a baby organization, but has demonstrated giant strides. You have followed the news, you have seen a lot in the media spaces and also the engagements. You have participated in one fora or the other. This gives us a great opportunity to further deepen that network, deepen the partnership, and of course, continue to strengthen the connection. On this day, on behalf of the Board of Trustees for CIA, we want to formally welcome you and request that you get relaxed, sit comfortable, and enjoy the day, because there are quite lots of things that will unfold in the course of the day. So I will say e káàbọ̀. I would also say no. I would also say sanunku de zwa. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel, for that brief opening address. So straight up, the next item on our list is the presentation of the CIA Charter. And I would like to call first person to come, no other than Mrs. Jennifer Obande. Please put your hands together for Mrs. Jennifer. Keep clapping. Have you seen a fine girl today? Thank you so much. Ms. Jennifer, you're welcome. You're welcome. Good morning, distinguished members of the Board of Trustees, our dedicated staff, CIA ambassadors, esteemed sponsors, our external participants. I am Jennifer Obande, and it is my profound honor to present the foundational document that defines our purpose, the Charter of the Humanitarian Hub for Community Impact Affinity. This charter is not just a document, it is our promise to the world. So let us begin at the very beginning. Established in 2023 and duly incorporated in January 2024, this preamble reminds us that we are part of something larger than ourselves. By aligning with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, we are choosing to work collaboratively for community transformation across Nigeria and beyond. Our vision. Our vision is the North Star that guides every decision that we make. We envision a world where the Sustainable Development Goals thrive, guided by principles of humanity, neutrality, independence, and impartiality. Our mission. If there's a mission, then there's definitely going to be a vision. If there's a vision, there's definitely going to be a mission, and our mission is how we get there. Our mission is to lead principled and effective humanitarian actions and development interventions with a steadfast commitment to advancing the rights, dignity, and perspectives of rural and underserved populations. Our core principles. Every action we take is rooted in these 6 non-negotiable principles. From humanity, which places people at the center, to accountability, to collaboration, impartiality, independence, and neutrality. Our objectives. What does success look like in practice? Our objectives is the roadmap. We're here to protect humanitarian action, build coalitions, and champion the localization of the Sustainable Development Goals. We aren't just reacting to crisis, we're building capacity for long-term sustainable impact. Our governance structure. For our impact to be sustainable, our structure must be robust. Our governance ensures efficiency from the strategic oversight of the Board of Trustees to the operational direction of the Executive Committee and the coordination of the Secretariat. Every level of CIA reflects transparency and inclusiveness. I would hand over to our Organizing Secretary to take out from here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. My name is Bukola David, and I will proceed with continuing presenting our charter. So, I will begin with the pragmatic focus areas. The Humanitarian Hub for Community Impact Affinity shall implement programs and initiatives across key thematic areas, including SDG advocacy and awareness, youth empowerment and capacity building, gender equality and GBV advocacy, education and ICT development, water, sanitation, and community health, institutional strengthening and policy engagement, international development, cooperation and diplomacy, promotion of peace and justice, sustainable cities and community, as well as clean energy. Building on this focus area, collaboration becomes essential. CIA shall actively engage with governments and public institutions, international organizations and the United Nations, civil society organizations and NGOs, private sector stakeholders, and academic research institutions. To sustain these activities, effective resource management becomes critical. Funds and resources shall be sourced through grants and donations, partnership and sponsorships, international development funding, and philanthropic contributions. This commitment is reinforced through a strong accountability system. All resources shall be utilized and strictly for the advancement of CIA's objectives, ensuring accountability and transparency. CIA is committed to maintaining accurate financial and operational records, and they shall conduct periodic audits, uphold ethical standards in all its engagements, ensuring compliance with national and international regulation. At the core of CIA, operations and its people are its main objective, and we are here to ensure that our people and our members are at its core of priority. So the next, I think, membership and participation. CI shall operate in an inclusive membership structure that encourages participation from individuals and institutions committed to sustainable development and humanitarian service. So members and ambassadors shall act as representatives of the organization, follow its value and mission at local, national, and international level. This charter may be reviewed and amended periodically to reflect evolving priorities and global development trend, subject to approval of the appropriate governing body of CIA. Finally, I will share the conclusion of this charter. This charter serves as a foundational document guiding the CIA, which is Humanitarian Hub for Community Affinity, in its pursuit for sustainable development, institutional strengthening, and impactful humanitarian actions through collective efforts, strategic partnership, and unwavering commitment. CIA shall continue to position itself as a global force for positive change, ensuring that humanity remains at its core in all development efforts. Thank you.
looking so good to me, baby. Can't do no wrong, hey, baby. Put your arms around.
Thank you so much, Bukola and Jennifer, for presenting that charter. All right, so straight up, next. Okay, before I get to that, I would like to introduce to us once again the COO and the chairman of Community Impact Affinity. Please put your hands together as we welcome to the stage Mr. Wilson Babangida Agboti.
Good morning, everyone, distinguished members of CIA. I was called upon earlier on, my bad, okay. I needed to give respect to whom respect is due. Mr. Mario wasn't here to present the opening welcoming remark, and the next line of someone that is in that same level with him is Mr. Emmanuel, so he needed to do that, just to clarify that. So I'm so sorry, those that were expecting me to talk. And secondly, I just wanted to say something, please. Regarding this charter, this is the foundation of who we are. This is very important for every member to get acquainted to this document. And we welcome reactions, we welcome feedbacks, we welcome input on how we can get better. But that is our funding, framework. So I expect at the end of the event, we're going to have it dropped in the group so that every member will get used to that. Thank you all, please.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. All right, so straight up to the next item on our program. It's the expert presentation, and it's going to be on the role of humanitarian efforts in advancing sustainable development. And it's going to be taken by no other person. He has been to the stage before. He's a member of the Board of Trustees. And he is an expert on things like this. So please help me welcome Mr. Emmanuel Lokumbo. Please put your hands together for Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you so much. We're so glad to have you here, Mr. Emmanuel. He's a busy man, oh, please clap for him. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so let's get to the business of the day. Can I have the slides on? Okay, no, the first slide, please. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention, and I would want to crave your indulgence to actively listen. It's going to be a short presentation, but this is really the foundation of what our membership is as members of CIA. We have oftentimes had lots of engagements, lots of discussions around what CIA is meant to be doing. We equally have read the charter, we've seen the vision, we've seen the mission, but apparently this gives the bedrock to what we do as CIA. So I want to really enjoin all of you to give your apt attention and also note down key questions you would want to ask. It is a very fertile ground all of us are aspiring to plow through. So I would be speaking in the next couple of minutes on the role of humanitarian efforts in advancing sustainable development. One key thing that resonates with all of us since we entered this room is the coloration in the room and what depicts the sustainable development goals. We have the wheel of sustainable development goals, 17 goals altogether, but CIA is at the center of all the things that is happening within the goals. Take a walk at the back and you see all that we're talking about. So what does that mean? What does that imply as members of CIA? My job this morning is simple. We would be talking through 6 key points. Next slide, please. 6 key points around understanding the context and overview of humanitarian assistance, and then how is this relevant to what we do as CIA members. And we want to establish the nexus between humanitarian action and the Sustainable Development Goals. That is really the high point of what we're expected to know and listen to. And then what pathways would we advance towards sustainable development? And what would be our strategic prioritization? How do we as members of CIA in our respective zones, in our respective states, prioritize all of these things to be able to meet up the vision that contributes to actualizing the vision of the organization? And then there is a call to action. What do we need to do as members? Next slide. So, we all know that Nigeria is the most populous country on the continent of Africa and one of the largest economies on the continent as well. But again, with all of this might, we've seen that millions of people that makes up the population of Nigeria face different levels of vulnerabilities. It is no longer news. We all know about the multidimensional crisis that the country is facing across the regions. But most importantly, we're looking at issues around conflict, insecurity, climate shocks, disease outbreaks, and lots of inequalities across the region. And because all of these multidimensional crises exist, it tends to violate or deprive humanity basic rights that we have fundamental entitlement to. So because of that, there is need for us to strike a balance in trying to address issues around displacement, food insecurity, disruption in livelihoods, malnutrition, volatile markets, and service delivery gaps that exist. That woman who is expected to give birth in a very good condition, because of certain vulnerabilities, is deprived of that situation. That child who is expected to grow healthy to become a better citizen of Nigeria is stunting, is wasting, because this child is not properly fed. This child does not have adequate nutrition to be able to live the best he needs to be to develop. There are also damaged infrastructure as a result of impacts of climate change or even conflict. Water facilities are destroyed, school infrastructure damaged, healthcare facilities are in dilapidated conditions. But how do all of this put together if we are aiming towards sustainable development? This tells us that the nexus between these conflicts and the humanitarian issues we face have contributed greatly to achieving all the sustainable development goals that we have. Next slide. So, humanitarian assistance, very straight put and defined. They include material and logistics aid that is provided to alleviate suffering, to save lives, and maintain human dignity during man-made crises and natural disasters. So we are counting ourselves so much privileged to be members of the Humanitarian Hub for Community Impact Affinity, which is the connector, which is the bridge to sustainable development. What this simply means is that if we are going to demonstrate that we understand the charter, the vision, and the principle by which CIA has been established, it simply means that we will contribute to the provision of all this relief to meeting the basic human needs. Things like shelter, things like food, medical care, psychosocial support, indirect aid, and infrastructure development. All of these things gives us the confidence of what CIA is meant to do in actualizing. I heard in the morning one person spoke about CIA saying there is an ICT program that CIA is implementing or is running. To what end? After the ICT program, what is that program meant to achieve? Is it contributing to any of those 6 or 7 areas of humanitarian assistance or aid? All of these things are guided by a recently approved Humanitarian Needs and Response Plan for 2026, which is the operational framework that guides actors like us in responding and providing certain assistance to improve the dignity of the human being that is facing each of these vulnerabilities we have mentioned. So, I simply say that humanitarian assistance is equal to the foundation and bridge to development. It is because if we are not able to address the issues, the vulnerabilities that humanity faces, then to what end will the outcome of development be? If a child is stunting and wasting, if a woman is not able to make up a livelihood, if people are not able to live secured and in dignified conditions, then what development are we talking about? So the humanitarian issues provide the basis for development. And that is why CIA stands in the middle as the connector, because humanitarian assistance is acting as the bridge to development. And if there are 2 walls apart, the only thing that connects those bridges is that humanitarian assistance. So I feel deeply honored to sit on the board of CIA, and I would want to really encourage us to deeply reflect on the charter and the virtues of what CIA intends to achieve. Sustainable systems cannot be built when people are displaced, malnourished, unsafe, or repeatedly set back by shocks. No system is built on fragmented platforms. So you have development that is solidified when people are in their sane minds, when people are living in dignified conditions, when people are at their best. That is only when development can be achieved. So if none of this happened, there would be no development, not even to talk about sustaining it. So in this, I say that where conflict, climate-related flooding, disease outbreaks, and economic pressures intersect, humanitarian efforts help keep people alive and promote the human capital. It is really all about human capital development. If the human being in itself is not fully developed to the required potential, there will be no development. So it is about human capital development. So local markets, community cohesion will all lead to long-term development. So it is in itself a hub. So I think with this presentation, you're beginning to understand more the rationale for the name. It is community hub, right? It is a hub, a humanitarian hub for community impact affinity. What does that mean? It means that we have brought all experts together. We have brought people of like minds together. We have brought ambassadors together. We have brought everyone in their respective capacities together to build a hub where we will be able to put in our expertise to respond to all the vulnerabilities that humanity faces, irrespective of geography. So, in the Northeast, in the Northwest, South-South, Southeast, North-Central, and all the regions in Nigeria, we have made ourselves a hub that with us, we will be able to push through to actualizing all the targets within the Sustainable Development Goals. And that is why I say that between the Sustainable Development Goals and the issues that result to vulnerabilities humanity face, the connector, the connecting bridge is humanitarian assistance. Next slide. Why is humanitarian assistance relevant? In our context, we're talking about why should I even get myself committed as a member of CIA? CIA is known for humanitarian support. CIA is known for that connection between the vulnerabilities leading to development, and we sit in the middle. Why is it relevant? Why am I in this meeting today? Why am I attending this great event? One, humanitarian action protects development gains. It is very critical that when vulnerabilities of this magnitude exist, the only thing that keeps everyone in check is around development gains. And what development gains are we looking at? We're looking at education, we're looking at good health outcomes, we're looking at livelihoods, we're looking at nutrition at its best, that people live the best of their lives and become productive human beings. And that is the only way that Nigeria as a country and Africa at large will boast of good human capital development. The indices are low at the moment because of the connections related to these vulnerabilities. But how do we change the narrative? We're changing the narrative because we will be able to sit in our respective capacities as members of CIA to be able to be as enablers. And that is why when you were conferred the title an SDG ambassador, what did that mean for you? What did that mean to you, to your immediate community, or to your personality? Is it just about aesthetics being called an ambassador? What does that relate? What does that mean to you as a person, as a member of CIA? What that simply relates to is that we are enablers. And enablers here are moving from the point of humanitarian vulnerability into development. We are the connectors, we are the bridge. And that is why in my opening speech, I said it will really be good to go home with our slogan when we call CIA. We respond by saying we are connectors, because in its sense, truly, we are truly connectors. Relevance of humanitarian assistance, we're looking at relief to risk management. It is beyond just providing aid. It is beyond providing the immediate needs that humanity requires in terms of emergencies, in instances of conflict, in instances of climate-related shocks, whether they are man-made or they are natural. It is about managing risk and doing that through risk reduction strategies and helping to put in mechanisms and frameworks that will be able to demonstrate resilience, help people, help humanity build on resilience to overcome any of those vulnerabilities and shocks. The humanitarian development peace nexus matters in protracted crisis. So the alignment here is really along the long-term expectation of development. It is not what we achieve now, because immediate aid is provided to lift humanity out of that immediate vulnerability or risk they are in. But the long-term expectation is that humanity in its sense is stable, is sustained, and actualizing full potentials of development. Local leadership drives sustainability. We're talking about funding, we're talking about accountability and decision-making for impact. And it is not out of place that you have members of the board of CIA, the operational team, the management team, all seated here to critically reflect on what it means to be able to act as connectors and provide that linkage to helping people actualize development. Cash and market-based support can be both humane and development smart, and then protection is development. So what mechanisms are we deliberately and intentionally putting in place or facilitating to ensure that that adolescent girl, that child, that boy, that woman faced with these humanitarian vulnerabilities is adequately protected? And the goal is that everybody attains their full potential. It is only by that that we are able to beat our chest to say that ideally SDG 1 is achieved, SDG 2 up to 17 have all been achieved meeting their relevant targets until development is attained. So humanitarian assistance, humanitarian action, humanitarian context, call it anything, as long as it brings people from the stage of vulnerability into development, that is only when we're comfortable and satisfied saying that we've been able to nip all the issues of vulnerabilities in the bud. Next slide. So, you can see that there is a strategic fit along thematic alignment on where humanitarian action sits within the Sustainable Development Goals. The numbers are numerous, but I highlighted 6 out of the 17 SDGs. And I say that humanitarian action and the SDGs are increasingly interlinked to bridge the divide between immediate relief and sustainable progress. So what humanitarian efforts do is providing that immediate relief, but the long-term goal and expectation is towards sustainable progress and development. And it is on this basis that we're talking about connectors and alignment to SDG 1 that will end poverty. Because when people are in distress, in vulnerable situations, they are in abject poverty. SDG 2 talks about zero hunger. The goal is to make everybody feed well, zero hunger. But when people are in humanitarian crisis or situation, there is absolute hunger. There is no food to eat. So when you provide that humanitarian support, you're simply moving them out of that situation of vulnerability into the aspired development of zero hunger. SDG 3 talks about good health and well-being, and in situations of humanitarian crisis, you're talking about worse health outcomes and indices for both maternal and child, outcomes and other related outcomes. Well-being is deprived because the dignity is also lost in instances that were mentioned around conflicts, around insecurity, around climate shocks, and other inequalities that are faced by humanity. Gender equality, clean water and sanitation, peace, justice, and strong institutions. So this is just but to mention a few on the connectivity between humanitarian action and sustainable development. Next slide. So, for us to walk through this journey, there are key pathways that we are expected to follow through on advancing humanitarian sustainable development. Remember, the entire theme is humanity at the core, strengthening institutions and strengthening institutions for sustainable community impact. This can only be achieved if we take very deliberate steps in walking these pathways. One is to look at strengthening and stabilizing livelihood and market protection. That is the only way the community members, the community people are able to demonstrate the confidence, because their economic power has been boosted and they have sustained livelihood to make a living out of what they do. Disease reduction and wash productivity is actually one of the goals that is focused on. People thrive in healthy environment. People thrive when there are no diseases. So if we're talking about development, we're talking about development that is devoid of diseases. And that is why SDG 5 talks about good health, right? So it has to be all round with well-being. Safeguarding the human capital in terms of adequate nutrition, protection from gender-based violence, protection from all kind of incidences and vulnerabilities that puts the human at risk and makes humans vulnerable. And then, lastly, it's about system strengthening. We're strengthening systems to demonstrate long resilience. We know that community impact affinity cannot do this alone as an organization. We need collaborators, we need partners, we need allies. We need to build alliances as well to take this journey, to take this momentum into a pact that everyone achieves to stability, where we are confident of having achieved sustainable development goals. Next slide. And so, trying to conclude, the 2026 Humanitarian Needs and Response Plan has been able to identify 4 key thematic areas of focus within the sector: nutrition, protection, wash, shelter, and non-food items. And each of these has adequate financial requirement for this year, 2026. For nutrition, there is a projection of $94.4 million to provide treatment for malnutrition, acute malnutrition, maternal health outreach, prevention of stunting, and other interventions that promote nutrition. Where will the money come from? Or where is even the money? Do we have the funding available? What is the role of CIA? What is the role of other actors? What is the role of government in ensuring this target is met? For protection in mitigating sexual and gender-based violence, child protection services, and legal assistance to internally displaced persons, $38.1 million is projected just for this year. There were projections made for 2024, 2025, but I don't want to bog us with those statistics. For water, sanitation, and hygiene, $35.9 million has been proposed to provide clean water to mitigate cholera and other waterborne diseases. And then shelter and non-food items projected at $23.4 million for emergency and transitional shelter for displaced persons. In all, 5.9 million people have been identified within the year as targeted people who are severely or extremely in dire need. However, only 2.5 million people have been identified as priority. what happens to the 3.4 million people? It means there is still the service gaps. If you're taking only 2.5 million people and then majority 3.4 million are still nowhere in the service ladder for intervention, then it means that the humanitarian crisis is still deepening. It is still worsening. And the indices keep growing by the day because of issues of conflict, insecurity, and other disasters and inequalities that were faced. Now, it is really sad, but well, good progress that we have 36.5%, which is about $188.7 million that has been provided so far as at April in addressing all of this challenge, with a huge funding gap of about 63%. How can we raise 63% of that money, which is about $327.7 million, to address the issues with the 5.9 million people who are in dire and extreme need? This is where Community Impact Affinity comes. We are not just members for decoration or members for show. We are members for advocacy. We are advocates. How do we, in our respective organizations, respective areas where we're coming from or where we are representing? Remember, you are all ambassadors. You are an ambassador for sustainable development. And we have a huge gap, meaning that more than 3 million people are deprived of basic humanitarian rights. What that tells you as an ambassador is anything at your disposal, your connection, your network, your voice, and everything you can lay hands on needs to be fully activated to make a case so that people would move from that state of crisis, cross the bridge through humanitarian assistance into development. So, next slide. The call to action is a message to both state actors and non-state actors for us to increase flexible funding so that people can adapt easily. The likes of CIA are also able to key into the funding opportunity to attract funding to demonstrate whatever support they are going to be providing. Multi-year layered financing, local-led response, anticipatory action, and then measuring what matters most. This is very critical. We cannot overemphasize the need and the relevance of data. If we have all the measurements, all the statistics, we are able to plan effectively with short-term, medium-term, and long-term expectations of how we want to move people from humanitarian crisis into sustainable development. In conclusion, next slide. If we want sustainable development in places facing chronic shocks, we need to treat humanitarian response as part of the development pathway, protecting people today while reducing the risks that create tomorrow's emergencies. So the business of sustainable development starts now. People need to be protected today. People's dignity needs to be sustained and ensured today to create tomorrow's, to avoid tomorrow's emergencies. For Nigeria, that means prioritizing locally led approaches, flexible and multi-year financing and preparedness so that each response leaves communities safer, healthier, and more resilient than before. So the whole thing about intervention, about community impact affinity is that we are not living community the same way we met the community. we are leaving the community safer, healthier, better, and more resilient than we met them. So that is the goal, and that is what the charter of CIA expects. So I want to thank you. Next slide. I want to leave you with some of the quotes as you prepare for your reflection and your onward journey into your ambassadorship of CIA. Humanitarian work is not charity. It is risk management for people and development. So if that sticks with you, I feel and hope this motivates you as you further reflect. In Nigeria, every flood or displacement shock can erase years of progress. Humanitarian support protect those gains. You have your plans, flooding comes, everything wipes off, the progress is no longer there. We are not going into retrogression, but we are going into development. Local leadership is the difference between temporary relief and lasting change. Saving lives and building resilience are not sequential steps. They must happen together. So it is about leaving the community better off than how we met them. And then lastly, the most sustainable assistance is the help that prevents the next emergency. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel. I hope we learned. Did you learn something? Did you learn something? Mr. Emmanuel, your students are about to deny you. Please watch their faces as I'm asking them. Did you learn something? Okay. Please, can an usher get a microphone for me? Did you learn something? The voices are reducing. Did you learn something? Okay, Mr. Emmanuel, I hope you're looking at them. That's what I'm asking and asking again. All right, so right now, it's time for reactions, questions. Mr. Emmanuel has said a lot, and I'm sure that you have questions. And this section is not just questions pertaining the topic for today. You're also allowed to ask questions about CIA. Remember that CIA charter was read before the lecture took place. So it's about time for you to put both of them together. Your questions about CIA, your questions about the lecture that we just had. So please, time for questions. Questions. Reactions. It might be a contribution to what Mr. Emmanuel has said. It doesn't necessarily have to be a question. If you have a question, that's fine. But okay, I think I've seen Mr. Wilson's hand up.
Good morning again, once more. Please, we thank a round of applause, please, for our able board member, Mr. Emmanuel. Mr. Emmanuel is not just an ordinary board member. He is a strong pillar in the history of CIA, and he will continue to be by the grace of God. And we thank you so much for your time, sir. We appreciate your input. We appreciate your guidance. We will never take you for granted. I wanted to also reflect on what he presented, just so we can also know areas we can align our goals. Just like he mentioned, SDG 1 and SDG 2, very important, okay? Is also in alignment to our main goal, which is the 8 goals. I want to believe most members are familiar here. If we want to make it interactive, we should also allow some members to talk about our goals, especially your areas that you know you've been championing in your regions. I think that makes sense. I can see Ambassador Japheth from Borno, our Borno State Liaison Officer is here. Our Lagos State Liaison Officer is here, Mr. Stephen. I can see our Program Officer, Ambassador Vanessa. And I can see, obviously, our SDG 16 active member, Ambassador Joyce. And then who else again do you have here aside the new lads? We can see our Abia State, Ebonyi State, sorry, liaison officer, and also our HMO manager. Thank you so much, sir. Also our chairman of the National Working Committee. So please, we are pleased to have you here, sir. So, I mean, let's make it interactive. Let's allow them to also, because some of us might not have the opportunity to see them, you know, in a close time like this, and in a way, from where they want to talk to us. So I think, host, without wasting much of our time, but if we can manage the little time we have to have this interactive section, especially those that have been championing and those that has been with us for a very long time, let them speak so that the young lads also will understand more. So yeah, SDG 1 and 2 is in alignment to what we do. And before I drop the mic, please, our dear Mr. Emmanuel is a wash expert. So his SDG is SDG 6. Some of you that are championing SDG 6, hold him very well. We want to see that SDG come up, okay? There are other ones doing well, and there are other ones who have not really had stuff to do. And you know, he needs support. He needs people who want to work with him, and he's very, very open to hear, and he's very open to guide. So let's see how we can do stuff on that SDG 6, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wilson. Okay, please. Make sure to introduce yourself to us, please.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is David. Yeah, my name is David Adebanjo, and I just have a quick question. Community Impact Affinity. First off, I'm honored to be here. It's a privilege, and I appreciate the opportunity to be part of the inductees. So my work basically is around mental health advocacy in African communities. So my question is Community Impact Affinity interventions limited to wholly Nigeria? That's my question for now. Thank you.
Okay, next question. I'm sure we're taking note of it, so would answer to them respectively. Question, reaction. Okay, please, Mike.
Good morning. My name is Nasruddin Mohammed Ridwan. It's a privilege and opportunity to be in this wonderful gathering. My question goes direct to the expert presenter. The topic of discussion is the role of humanitarian efforts in advancing sustainable development. So my question is, how can institutions move beyond short-term humanitarian intervention to build sustainable system that continues to deliver impact in education and gender inclusion long after initial support has been made? So how does CIA, what is the arrangement that will be made after the first impact? How would the service continue afterward? Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Reaction questions. Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Ambassador Japheth Francis, Borno State Liaison Officer. Mine is actually a contribution so to say, based on my own SDG, good health and well-being. It has been a challenge, and we've seen in our environment how poor it is. And we've made it like a lifestyle, living in an environment when it's not conducive. Definitely it affects every part of you. It's only when you're healthy that you can actually function. When you're not healthy, you can't function. You're demoralized. And looking at where I am presently in Borno, I think it's one of the state I feel such need to be looked into. Sensitization is actually key, because when you meet someone there as an ambassador, it's a mandate that you get to do that. Communicating to people alone change their ideology. People don't actually know it's wrong. People don't actually know that this is how it should be. We've made it a lifestyle that we live every day, not knowing we're doing the wrong thing. And when we try to correct it, some may take it personal. Some may take it personal, but I think we just have to be patient, strive more, and see how we work on that. Creating a healthy environment, to be honest, is a difficult one. People in that place live. The vicinity is something that you see and you wonder, does someone eat here? And you see the person sleeps there, eats there, and he's comfortable. He has no issues with it. Getting to touch that person by saying, this place is not conducive, the next thing you hear, we've been here for years, and we've been doing this for years. So how do you change the ideology? It's actually a big one for us. Then coming to look at tradition, culture, and so many things. It's a problem. We're supposed to start up a vaccine on meningitis, but I'm telling you, we'll have to test run few vials, because we don't know how they will accept the vaccine. See, these are some of the challenges we find around. It's common in the north, and we have to just keep giving our best to see we achieve it. I think this inauguration today, it's going to strengthen our energy. It's going to boost our morale. So we'll give in our best. And I encourage all the ambassadors to stand on their feet from today. We've been sleeping. It's like we've forgotten the purpose of this ambassadorship. So I think today should mark the beginning or the continuation of our own projects. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Jeffers. Please, any other question or reaction? Oh, the chairman has the mic.
Thank you once again. I remain October Osborne. Let me talk about my state, Ebonyi State. Ebonyi State is one of the last greatest states in Nigeria. And so far, there have been challenges of gender-based violence, also on good health and well-being. Just as Bruno just made mention, there's this form of resistance from the people, especially towards their health. We work on a wash. In fact, to date, they still have open defecation in some areas in the Ebonyi State. It's been a challenge. And you keep sensitizing them on it. And one thing is glaring there, government always come with fund. They just share money. So whenever you as a person, as an NGO comes around to talk with them, first they look at you is how much are you bringing? Despite you are telling them about their health, they are looking at how much are you bringing, not to just come and talk to us and go. Okay, so this has been a challenge to us, and even though the CSOs, the NGOs there are working seriously in addressing some of this issue. Also, in the area of gender-based violence, one thing stands out, and the area I would say, yes, Ebonyi is doing well in that area. It's an area of female gender mutilation, which most of the communities now is coming down. fact, some communities hardly get it, except just few communities. I will say kudos to CSOs in Ebonyi State on that area. In the area of gender-based violence, we have child trafficking. Due to poverty, can't eradicate that entirely. Poverty is playing a very key major role in that area. Zero to hunger, as when he was presenting, Mr. Manuel, I was like, can we actually rule out that zero hunger? Because every day, you believe me, in our system today, things are getting better every day. Let me use that word. Things are getting better every day. So families go to sleep in an empty stomach. So this is a serious problem. You see, at the end, you see most families, girls especially, they have to trade their daughters in marriage, forced marriage. Whether you like it or not, give me some farmland, I will give my daughter in marriage. It's trending in Ebonyi State. And a lot of gender-based violence. I don't want to talk about physical battery and all that, which are as a result of hunger, poverty. You understand? So these are issues, and really we are working towards it. And yes, I know that area of government sharing money to them. So whenever you come to talk to them or sensitize them, first what they're looking at, how much are you bringing, despite what good news you are coming with. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Stephen, you have the mic.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sherman. I want to throw a little bit more light and answer to the question, of which you have mostly answered. It's the same issue we are also facing in Lagos State, of which the public defecation, and also when you want to come and carry out sanitation in these places, you see people from nowhere. The next thing what you hear is, oh, Mida, give me money before you can. So these are the problems we also face. And also, I will use Kano State as an example on the CIA Youth Empowerment Program, which is a very, very delicate one, because for us to get that started then, it was a tug of war. Moving from house to house, begging parents and wards in order to enable their, or allow their female wards to come and get this impact. Because most of them believe that they are not supposed to be there, or which most times, even some married ones, resort into violence, or which they feel is the right way. So CIA is really trying so much to curb out the issue of GBV, and we are also in partnership with other organizations which we are working to, reduce the rate of GBV violence in so many states in Nigeria. And also, to that aspect, the CIA Youth Empowerment Program, which deals on ICT training, of which we have had several sources across some states, has also enabled so many CIA's beneficiaries with skills. And that relates to where you talked about what is the impact ratio, the follow-up as to what CIA is doing to continue getting these people empowered. So CIA is also bringing these people in with follow-up mentorship, and also grooming them to be impacts and ambassadors of CIA in their various community, showing them as a good example from what others might deem to be the normal, to see that this person who were not allowed to be part of this before have turned out to be good ambassadors of this and that. So that also speaks about CIA impact to the communities where these projects have been carried out. And with time, all this will spread across Nigeria and also outside Nigeria, because CIA doesn't only operate in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Stephen. Please, the microphone, Ambassador Joyce. That's her hand up.
Good morning once again. I want to extend my appreciation to our CEO and the entire team for putting up such a successful event. I know a lot must have gone down the drain. It takes a lot to come up with such event. Thank you, a very well done to you, sir. So my question is this: moving forward, what underway plans does the CIA has for its ambassadors when it comes to capacity building and development? And then the other question is, in what areas or in what ways does the CIA intend to hold each of us accountable for our respective commitment? It is easy to be decorated or to be assigned an office, but where the main work lies is execution. Please, I would like to know how the CIA intends to go about checking its members and ensuring that each ambassador live to their words and commitments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador Joyce. Okay. All right, I think.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Okori Clinton, and my question, I want to be directing my question to our chairman when he talked about the open defecation sensitization in Ebonyi State, that most times you tell the people about the implications of all these things. So my question is this: beyond advocacy, telling them this and this are the cause, or you shouldn't be doing this, what is CIA really doing for them? Take, for example, in the water and sanitation project, are there amenities, infrastructures? Because some of these people that actually go to do this open defecation probably don't really have toilets. Like one of the wash programs we did sometime in, I think in Abuja, that was last year, where some institutions have to come together, partnering with companies like Nestle, other water companies, even with the Federal Ministry of Water Resources. You see, infrastructures like this are being built, public toilets built in those places, having people to actually monitor them. So beyond the advocacy, what is CIA doing? Because people may just actually listen and say, okay, you've told us open defecation, the impact of open defecation, but then we don't have toilet, we don't have good water. So what is CIA doing to actually help and assist these communities which they've engaged? Thank you.
Thank you once again on that question. To start with, we have an advocate to the state government of Ebonyi State, which already are working on that through the Minister of Health. Now there's a mandate in Ebonyi State. If you own a building that doesn't have a convenience, they give you a stipulated period to put up that, or they get that facility sealed. Outside that, communities that's outside the state, the state capital, we encourage you to have pit toilets, whereby they can just do about 4 or 5 feet deep we shall have just a round hole, then have a little structure on that can cover it after using, instead of having an open field defecation. So far this is what we've advocated for now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I believe what Mr. Chairman is trying to say is, so far so good. The Ebonyi State government has placed a rule on law for those with convenience to strengthen it, and also the CIA, the CIA is also working on what we call the pits, the olden days pits pattern of, like 5-6 feet. Then there's a convenience little shelter on it at strategic points where people can go and have their convenience. So the same thing also is happening in Lagos State, which is under the UNSDSN, United Nations Sustainability Solution Network, of which CIA is working so hard to partner with them, but already we have initially kickstarted a phase where we have spoken with the Lagos State government on environment, because I believe in Lagos State is worse. Is worse. You can just be passing maybe anything 8, 9 somewhere, and someone will just throw something. And so before you know, it's what you think it is. So works are already being put in place, starting from the Oshodi Axis down to Surulere, of which convenience are being rehabilitated, because most of the convenience there have been filled. And when this time around we are in the raining season, so with the water being pushed back from the lagoon, heavy rain, like a day or two, flood the street, and most of these convenience are being flooded and pushed out. So most of these convenience are being, taken care of now, dredged, and try to be, expanded and rehabilitated in a way that passerbys or anyone, no matter where you're from, can go to this convenience, pay a little amount of money for, which is what we call maintenance fee for this convenience. Then you can go there and use it properly. And if it's being found that you are misusing the convenience in the way it's not supposed to be, then you'll be charged. So CIA is working on that aspect too in Lagos, of which there are progress. And also, there is also a recent news in Lagos, of which CIA is also looking at communicating with the Lagos State Government Commissioner on Environment, of which we have notified one Mr. Damilari from University of Ibadan, which developed an app where you can search for the closest convenience to within your proximity if you are not around. So this gives you the closest convenience around you, which you can easily track and get to relieve yourself. So I believe, with that being said, CIA is working deeply, well, in order to make sure that as the issue of sanitation and health is being tackled, because we take that seriously. So that is that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Stephen. Well, for want of time, so that we could get back to the COO and the experts to react to all the questions and contributions that has been put through. So I might have to cut you short. But notwithstanding, we're going to be back and we're going to have, still do some strategic talks. So I think just hold on to your thoughts while we come back to it after the tea break, if that's fine. if we take our time, we might get past, the program. So I'm trying so much to stick to the program. So I'm going to fall back to Mr. Emmanuel and Mr. Wilson. Please, can we make our reactions as brief as possible so that we can...
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Ambassador David, for your question and comment. Really good to know that you're working on mental health. It's really an aspect that has really not been prioritized. But as a country, it is something that we need to really put at the forefront, because humanitarian crisis has a lot of impact on the mental state of people, and then that is the basis for providing the mental and psychosocial support. Already there is a framework for mental health and psychosocial support that is being operationalized, not everywhere. So areas of operation for CIA is not only in Nigeria. I think you can see some of the regions where we're connected. So by virtue of wherever CIA ambassadors find themselves, they are meant to also operate. So it is just not only in Nigeria, so it's beyond Nigeria as well. But I think the CEO can speak more to that. So to Nasiru, thank you very much. You wanted to know on how institutions can continue. So we are really leveraging what we call the sector-wide approach, and that's why in my presentation I said it is not a CIO job alone. This work goes beyond that. So every actor needs to be fully involved. And because the humanitarian issues are multifaceted, we need to tackle them through a multi-sectoral approach in getting all the relevant sectors involved. Ministries of health, education, environment, humanitarian, women affairs, and all needs to be together. And if you look at the humanitarian hub, how they operate, every actor comes together, with the level of support they provide. So CIA as a community focal point or organization would now be an advocate in that coordination platform to raise voices and connect appropriately. And that is where, for each ambassador that has a particular and unique SDG, you have a say to come in to seeing which ministry you are working on beyond just advocacy. This again takes us to what I call the humanitarian spectrum. When crises happen, the first point of reference is relief. You provide aid to relief. So beyond that emergency relief, you're now talking about recovery. So it goes beyond just that immediate relief or emergency response to recovery. And then from recovery, we start building systems to sustainable development and resilience. So CIA does not just stop at that emergency response. We are deliberately building systems, making those connections, alliances, and partnership to really strengthen sustainable development and recovery. Lastly, for me, thank you, Ambassador Joyce, for your question about what plans CIA have for capacity building of ambassadors. I work with WaterAid, and WaterAid is an international NGO that is monothematic. Our area of specialty is WASH. I heard in the room about, the strides in water sanitation and hygiene. So one opportunity that we would be bringing forth to the ambassadors is using our office, because we solely deal with SDG 6. Though SDG 6 is like the hub connecting every other SDG, there are opportunities for capacity building specifically. So I will discuss with COO, and then we'll look at how to marshal our plans. If there are opportunities to engage and build capacity, I think the right people in the room would be our ambassadors. So I think it is really something I want to take forward, and we would look at that. Currently, we are operational in Lagos, Enugu, Bauchi, and Abuja. So any of those capacity building sessions could be in any of these areas. So if you wouldn't mind traveling, or if you're within those locations, we're really happy to connect and have that. So lastly, you talked about how we will hold, how will CIA hold ambassadors accountable. We were just whispering that after this assembly, we're going to have like an operational teams meeting to refine the operational frameworks for CIA, where each ambassador has very specific plans. If you're working on SDG 6, ambassador to SDG 7, 8, 9, 10, what are your priorities for the year? So if CIA documents those priorities, we would be holding ourselves accountable periodically. So this is not a one-off meeting. We're seeing how we can expand partnerships to even get sponsorship, to be holding quarterly reviews, or at least maybe 6 months reviews, where all ambassadors come together and tell us what you're doing with your plans. With that, it demonstrates accountability on what each ambassador would be doing. So Ambassador Clinton, thank you so much. Beyond advocacy, CIA is not just limited to advocacy. These are the connectors we're talking about, opportunities where we, the board members, are also able to leverage our networks, our connection, and areas of expertise to see how we can contribute to the growth of CIA. So I'll hand over to COO to maybe add some points.
All right, thank you so much, sir. We appreciate your input. I hope we all take note of that so we can put it into actions, please. I wouldn't want to say much. Mine is to respond to the question raised by, is it Ridwan? Who raised the question concerning what is CIA doing? Okay, I think it's Joy, for her ambassadors, okay? So one of the benefits we are bringing in for our ambassadors is that we're going to, the capacity building area, which what she wanted to know, is that we're going to empower our ambassadors when it comes to international exposure. Okay, we're going to give the platform to see how you can really make impact just beyond the local community. In as much as we are community-based organization and we are community-centric, but then again, just like we talked about, how do we attract this collaboration? How do we attract this partnership? How do we get this recognition for what we do and how people can support us to do more in our communities? So we're going to be providing our ambassadors with that platform for that. And another way we're going to be checking our ambassadors, just like he said, that periodic review. We're going to be coming up, calling up meetings upon meetings, so we can actually see how much you are doing in your respective SDGs. And for instance, for a very fact, you are an ambassador of an SDG. Meaning that SDG, what that SDG stands for, you represent that. Are we clear on that? You are representing that SDG. If you say you are a CIA SDG 3 ambassador, it means that you are willing to carry the cause of humanity to seeing that SDG 3 is being achieved. Am I making sense? What is it? You already know what that SDG is. So it's a mandate you have agreed to carry. So it's not just a title, okay? And please, I like the fact that this is coming at the right time. Before I drop the mic, the issue of ambassadorial, some of you must have seen the comments that was the Minister of Foreign Affairs brought out concerning titles and titles and titles. Okay, in as much as we are development practitioners or we are development drivers, we need to also respect the sanity of the diplomatic space. We need to respect the standard of diplomatic space. So you are not being an ambassador here because we want to just give you title and you go there flying and acting like you are a career ambassador. No. You have decided to take a course. And what is that course? That I want to champion a particular SDG. So you can see the difference in that ambassador. So let the career ambassadors do their thing. Don't go in that space trying to act like you are a career ambassador, but you are a development ambassador, and we will have helped you to narrow it towards your SDG based on your fields, based on your expertise, and based on your commitment. Are we good together? So these are the areas we're going to be checking on our ambassadors, and would seriously frown on anyone found in misconduct. Thank you so much. And it's a periodic appointment, I'm sure. Admin will tell you, I think so, there is time to it. So that means that you will be evaluated, you will be appraised, and then we'll see whether you should continue to bear that or we should drop that. Okay? Thank you so much, please.
Thank you once again, Joyce, for that question. I think that question is really bringing a lot. Okay, there is during Mr. Ambassador Manuel's presentation, his last slide, there's something he posted there, which I screenshotted immediately. Saying, humanitarian work is not charity. It is risk management for people. So for us as an ambassador, we are taking risk. Going to these hinterlands, going to our people to address these issues. Now, as an ambassador, it's not just a title. Okay, I know for the past few months I've been working with Ambassador Steve on proposal writing. Now I still put it as a challenge for us as ambassadors to team up. If you know you are good in proposal writing in any area of your field, you can join the team. Okay, we can come up with proposals on different area. Good I find, say you have it, we work in different areas of SDG. We have the wash, we have gender, we have clean energy. So which area are you targeting to address? So you can join the team. Okay, so I can address this through proposal writing. If you get a grant on that area, fine, we can go on and do it. And yes, as an ambassador, can come up, say in a year, you should be able to come up with an activity or a project you tend to achieve within your area. So at the end of the year, as you are reviewing, maybe quarterly or annually, you can say, okay, this is what I'm able to achieve. And within you, you are okay. You can hit your chest and say, yes, I did well in my area. So by so doing, you are holding yourself accountable, not even a CIA holding you accountable. Within you, you are satisfied that, yes, this is work done and well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, all of you. Okay, so we were supposed to have our tea break now, then come back for the workshop. But since we're already behind schedule, I think we should just finish the major things that we have, which is just the workshop left. So let's go straight to the workshop and get done with it. Then we can have our tea break and close so that, you know, for the slow eaters that would want to have their time with their breakfast, you already know that the section has come to an end, so you can just take your time to take your tea while we wait for the second section to start. So I would just like to go straight to the next thing we have on the program, which is the workshop reflection and strategic outlook. That's on CIA ongoing programs, strategic approach, and roadmaps. If you remember, I had told someone to hold on to something because most of the things we were saying were somehow similar to CIA strategic programs and the roadmaps that we already have available. So I think that conversation has already kick-started. So I would now go back to him since I held him. So he would begin this section. Also, this section is for our liaison officers from different states. You're free to talk about the programs that are happening in your area, the challenges, the lessons. This is the time that we need to know what needs to be. Also, we can also initiate new programs pertaining your areas where you think that we can head to or what you think that we can achieve at the moment as a team. So let me hand the mic. Okay, you have the mic. Thank you.
All right, thank you once again. Okay, so I was coming back to the explanation Ambassador Steve gave to me about the things they've put in place beyond and advocacy, you mentioned the convenience that you built so far, the old-time pit and all that. Yeah, I don't know if that's really a good point to start with, because most of the time, the reasons for people actually going to open defecation is because of that kind of nuisance too. So if we have pit latrine as what we are offering, if someone should go there, just the smell from there, the stench from there, the person will be forced to go outside where there's proper ventilation. So I think that's also something to consider. Water, even if it's the local one that we have to squirt, but probably uses water, I think that will go a long way. You will not be able to achieve this war against open defecation if we stick to the pit latrine. I've been part of the system, so I understand that. So that's why that was just my contribution. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Where is Ambassador Hafiz, our Kano State Liaison Officer? Please, Hafiz, if you can hear me, okay, he's on call. He's on call. Yeah, while he's at that, I would like, who is another active, who can give us reports from their region? Please, once again, I welcome all the new members. I welcome you to Community Impact Affinity. We are grateful to have you, and we are optimistic that you will add value to what we do here. Thanks for joining us, please. Okay, SDG 16. You guys know that's my department, right? That's my SDG. Mr. Ambassador, you're welcome, sir. Before I talk about my department, I want you to please talk to us. It's very important that you've been doing a lot, and it's good to know what you're up to and where we can also help as an organization. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, everyone. Good day once again. Actually, a lot has been done in Kano. Initially, the CEO, we have been working together with him. He was in Kano. He visited the commissioner. We started with the commissioner of Science and Technology. You remember, with the FARMSEC. They promised us a lot, that they would do something. Nothing came up to now. Then we decided to go back to Ministry of Education. We wrote to them, accepted, signed an MOU with them, but up to now, there's nothing. Because let me be sincere with all of us. My dear brother Mebunyi has said, people are just looking, what do they have? That's the question they'll be asking you. This program that you're bringing about the youth, what do we gain out of it? How much are you going to spend? If they say if you say no, it's just a free something that what you have to do is just give us the student, they'll just they'll just go back and start looking at you that you don't know what you're doing. But I've been trying to convince them. We actually maybe have the orientation we have in the north. It's quite different. My brother in Borno, that's what he was saying. People are just looking at what do they get? What do they gain out of all this? Are you going to just educate the children? They'll gather people for you to give them training. What are they going to get out of it? So it's really difficult, but we're on it. I promise that we're going to discuss today when we meet. There is a lady in Kano. You see, the structure of the ministry is divided. We have the ministry, the main ministry, then we have another board, which is known as the secondary school board. So there's a lady there, she's in charge of entrepreneur. She has been disturbing me that she wanted to get something from us. Unfortunately, I told her that, you see, there's a protocol, there's a bureaucracy. We cannot write to you directly while we have written to the ministry. But I think what we do now is just for us to forget that. Let's write to the ES of the board and see what you can do about that. If he agrees, then we carry on with our activity of the youth. That's what I intended to do in Kano. Secondly, you know, the CEO has forgotten to mention that CIA has signed an MOU with a security training organization known as the Top for International Security. We have written a proposal. intentionally intended to take the proposal, the training to my state, Jigawa State. But unfortunately, it wasn't possible because of funding. But now the CEO has visited Kaduna, and we're planning to do a training there for the vigilante in Kaduna State, possibly. You see, what is disturbing the north is the northern states. Most of us there is about security issue. So concern is more, we look into security. How do you go about doing mitigating security challenges in this area? So fortunately, the CIA has already signed an agreement, MOU, and we are going to embark on that. That was one of the goal, or what are the mission I intended to do this year, is we are going to do training. We are going to make sacrifices. I've already gotten so many facilitators that are willing and ready to facilitate those trainings free of charge. So we do that by the grace of God. Another thing is about Jigawa State, my state. There's a liaison officer who was supposed to come with here, though he has not been officially, but he have discussed with the CEO also. So we are going to work together with him, very close, because I know in Jigawa the governor is willing and ever ready to do whatever it takes to ensure the safety and the security of his state. So it will be easier to work in Jigawa than Kano, Gaskia. That's what I have to say. So thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Ambassador Hafiz Ringim. We thank you so much. Please, a round of applause for him, please. He's an experienced development expert. He's a security trainer, and just like he said, there's an organization he represents, and we've been able to sign an MOU with the organization, and hoping that we're going to work together to develop the capacity of our security system operators, especially within the SDG 16, peace, justice, and strong institution. So yeah, we're hoping to explore that in Kaduna State with the vigilante service, which we are also in talk with. You forgot to mention, we have also signed an MOU with Kano State government through Ministry of Education. Why I'm saying this is, some of you that wants to work in Kano, in as much as Kano is complicated and complex, I agree with him, but some of you might know one or two, or how you can leverage on that partnership. We have that on his decks. So I don't know how you've been engaging with the department that you're supposed to be liaising with on that partnership, because I read their letter very well, and I know you have a representative of that. So please take up on that. I mean, I've played my role. We've gotten the platform and the MOU. What you have to do there, and we are always ready. Any letter you want, any support, we'll talk about it, and we'll approve and give you where necessary. So, but you need to leverage on that MOU that we have now. It's already in your corner, and that's where you base, and that's why, So as for Jigawa, the reason we do not have to direct that to Jigawa, you will agree with me, we don't have official structure there yet. So you don't go to operate where you don't have official structure. It's very important. So let the guy you recommended, I've met him, and there's a department now that handles all of that. So let him do the needful. So when we have him officially appointed as our rep there, he can now take off from there. Okay? We are open to work. That is what we are here for, isn't it? Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Please, any other representative? Oh, okay. You have the mic.
All right. It's afternoon already. Yes. I wanted to just discuss about a project that I carried out, not just only me, alongside with the Lagos State Liaison Officer, and as well as Ambassador David Adediran here in Abuja. It's quite funny when people get to hear Abuja, they see it as a very big city where everything that exists in it goes very, very smoothly. Unfortunately, while carrying out the research as an advocate for quality education, in the city of Abuja, we're able to come across, if you can look through the screen, a primary school at Rafin Didi in Abuja. And it's quite unfortunate that in this century and in this era, we have children learning under this very condition. In this school, we were able to have a rough estimate, you can slide please, of over 800 pupils in Abuja here. 800 pupils. no provision for them, no chairs, no teaching items, just them sitting on floor. And I said that education exists, but opportunity doesn't. I was able to share this particular project and proposal with the COO, Ambassador Wisin Abumati, and he was like, it's a very nice something that we should make our research completely on it and see where we can make provision or elevate the status of these puppies who are learning. These are future leaders of tomorrow. These are governors, these are presidents, and the condition at which they are learning is very, very, very much inconducive. We're able to make video, and even the puppies there, they are very, very much astute. They were able to speak. I itemize the problems they are facing and the challenges, and we were able to keep that in record. The project was in collaboration with I myself, the liaison officer of Lagos State, and Ambassador David Dediron. So that is the presentation I have. So I'm looking forward to making requests to the CIA to see if there is any way that sees the SDG4 it collaborates with the agenda of CIA and also the SDG completely. If there's any way we can profile solutions to this problem, maybe not all, but at least to some extent. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other representative? Okay, Ambassador Jaffert.
Good afternoon, all. I'm speaking from Borno. Let me put it that way. We are all conversant with the situation in Borno State. My SDG is a good health and well-being, which, aside the insecurity, I think Borno has been suffering from poor hygiene, not drainage. In fact, I went there, I saw a system that I've never seen before, and I called it an outdated technology. So how would you build a house? And then the drainage you say you are building or you built cycles around your house. Yes, that's Borno State for you. And the street, just like we're sitting, this is a street, and the drainage just cycle around the street. A state government building a tar road with no drainage. Now, malaria is actually a rampant thing there, and people get to die with common diseases, but the next thing you hear, they say, is have been bewitched. You know, this is a common health issue. When I pushed for the meningitis vaccine, because the heat there is something else, and then we got some obstacles, because I intended, as an ambassador, I intended to run it for the first quarter, but I had hindrance, so I couldn't run the vaccination. Funny enough, my colleague's daughter became a victim. I felt guilty. If I had done that vaccination, this little child wouldn't have been a victim of meningitis, but she became a victim. I used that, tried to find the proper channels. When you come to someone's office, the first thing they tell you, what do you have for us? In Borno, they feel is their entitlement. That's how bad it is over there. You go to a community, a Bulama is looking at you, what have you brought for us? I'm coming to take certain things or to help you out with certain things, and you're asking me what I have for you. The vaccine, I think I wanted trying just 1,000 vaccine. Despite the fact that this vaccine are expensive, they don't know the value. And the 1,000 I'm going to try is more like I have to talk to see if actually they will accept the vaccine. So you see, it's a big challenge for us over there. it's more of a culture state. They do more of the Asian thing more. They don't, accepting civilization, it's slow, very slow over there. So, the health situation of Borno, I think if I want to rate it, is 0 over 10. Very poor. Day in, day out, people die. You want to make advocacy, it becomes a problem. They see you as a nuisance. You're coming to disturb their ears. So it's not easy for us over there, to be honest. But I'm trying my best to see how possible it will be for me to actually penetrate the people necessary to see how these things will be done. Because it's like a normal lifestyle. Stagnant drainages. You can't pass certain area. It's called a GRA, but I'm telling you, you ask yourself a question, is this a GRA? You can't breathe. And you see someone sitting comfortably outside eating in front of that same stocked drainage. It doesn't flow. Getting to communicate is a problem. I've spoken to the CEO, and CEO said, is this thing becoming so difficult? I said, oh, I think I'm doing my best to see how this thing will work. But today they tell you this story, tomorrow they tell you another story. I was in the Ministry of Health and I told him, I said, sir, the heat it's getting bad and these vaccines are available. How do we go about it? He referred me to, they will refer you to, another will refer you to, and you get tired. They pick your call today, tomorrow, and the next, no picking of calls. You visit stories, and it's challenging and demoralizing. It's not funny at all. It's not funny at all. Looking at the orientation there, it's actually difficult to convince someone. It's difficult to convince someone. If I must convince someone and for someone to listen to me, I must speak Kanuri. I must speak Kanuri. I must have to be one of them. Then they would see reasons to actually listen. So these are some of the challenging factors in that place. But I believe, God's willing, we'll keep trying. This second quarter, I think we're almost rounding up first quarter. So I think in second quarter, we should be able to achieve the vaccination, which is supposed to be our first project over there. Then second will be the sanitization, trying to see how we'll create restrooms. In fact, there are places when you go, you ask yourself, is human being actually staying in this place? The Almajiri, those, you see them living in a zinc tight place, no. So it's actually bad over there. So I think that will be our second project. We'll try to see how we'll succeed with each as time goes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all so much. So, so that we don't drag this any further, we've come to the end of this section. We're going to head over to have our tea break. And after that, the section has actually come to an end. It's for us to go back and prepare for the second section of today. So, but before we go, we all have our breakfast over there. So Let's just do that. I tried, right? At least we're 30 minutes late and we started late actually.